Welcome, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. In September, I did a tutorial where I shared how to create perfectly sized motifs using the Accuquilt dies in Electric Quilt. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to take those motifs and bring them into a quilt. And so this is a wonderful falling leaves quilt just in time to celebrate the October season. I have opened my Accuquilt Dies Fall Medley, and during the last session I took some of the dies that had been recreated for Electric Quilt and I moved them into their own separate, perfectly sized motifs. But now I want to actually do something with these in a quilt. So I'm going to close this, and the first thing I'm going to do is design a quilt from scratch. And for this quilt, I am going to do a new quilt horizontal. For the layout, I am going to select 1 by 1, and I'm going to do a size of 6 inches wide by 18 inches tall. And for border number 1, I'm going to make it a 1-inch long horizontal. I'm going to add a second border that is also going to be a long horizontal, but I'm going to change the size to 2 inches. And then I'm going to go to the Design tab, and I'm actually going to start by coloring this, but I want some fall fabrics. So I'm going to go back to the home screen, do a search fabric swatches, and I'm going to go to the themes, and under the themes they have a category called Holidays Fall, and I'm going to select all of those, and I'm just going to add those to my sketchbook, and I'm going to close. So now I'm going to go to the fabric tools, use the paintbrush, and I will select some fabrics to recolor. Now I like to make that fabric preview nice and big so I know what my fabric is going to look like. That also frees up a little bit more space under the Fabrics tab. If I collapse the fabric tools, I can get even more space. Once I have the center done, I'm going to go to Layer 2, and I'm going to use my Block tab and go to Motifs. And I am going to take the various leaves and I'm going to drag them on Layer 2. Now when you drag onto Layer 2, they're going to come in at the size that I designed the block on. So I can use the Adjust tool. With the Control key, I'm going to select the center of the block, and I'm going to rotate it. Now I cannot resize it. I need to stay consistent with the size that I used originally. And I will repeat this same process with the second leaf. Using the Set block, bring it in, using the Adjust tool to change the rotation, and then clicking and holding on the center and dragging it into position. I'm going to continue to select the blocks with the Adjust tool and do copy and paste and move them into a different position, and I'm going to continue to rotate to create a quilt layout that looks appealing. And once I have my leaves positioned in the quilt, I'm going to go to the fabric tools, and I'm going to use my new fabric collection to color these. And once my quilt is recolored, I can add it to the project sketchbook. Thanks so much for watching. For additional tips and techniques, please feel free to subscribe to my weekly newsletter at www.onpointquilter.com.